There's a fear running your financial life right now, and you've probably never said it out loud. If you lost everything tomorrow, the savings, the job, the security you slowly built, some quiet part of you believes you could never build it back. That whatever got you here was partly luck, a break that happened to land, a window that happened to open, and if it slammed shut, you'd be finished. That fear is more expensive than any mistake you've ever made. It's why you grip what you have so tightly your knuckles ache. It's why losing money doesn't feel like losing money. It feels like losing a piece of yourself. It's why you can't fully breathe even when things are fine, because somewhere underneath you suspect you couldn't do it again if you had to. But what if wealth was never luck? What if it was a skill, something you could do once, lose completely, and then do again on command? Because there was a man who proved exactly that. He didn't get rich once, he got rich 3 separate times. And each time, at the very peak, he gave almost all of it away, on purpose, and then built it back from nothing. This isn't motivation. This is one of the most remarkable lives in the entire history of money, recorded 2,500 years ago by China's greatest historian. His name was Fan Li, and to this day, much of China still honors him as the god of wealth. Not because fortune smiled on him, but because he understood something about money that almost no one ever learns. By the end of this, that fear of losing it all is going to loosen its grip, because you're going to see wealth the way he did, not as treasure you cling to, but as something you generate. Let me tell you what he actually did, because it sounds impossible. Fan Li didn't begin as a merchant. He began as the strategist behind a broken king, a kingdom crushed, humiliated, nearly erased from the map. For 20 years, he helped that king rebuild, plan, and wait, until they destroyed the rival state that had conquered them. It was one of the greatest comebacks in ancient history, and Fan Li was the mind behind it. He stood at the absolute summit of power, honored, trusted, set for life, and he walked away, quietly, at the very top. Because he understood something we'll return to, that the peak is the most dangerous place to stand. So he left it all behind, changed his name, and started over as a nobody in trade. And here's where the legend begins. Starting from zero in a strange city under a false name, he became enormously wealthy through commerce, a second fortune built with none of his former power or titles. Proof the first success was no accident. Word of his brilliance spread so far that the people of his new home begged him to become their prime minister. The seal of high office offered to him a second time. And what did Fan Li do? He gave it back. He returned the seal, took his vast fortune, and distributed most of it to poor friends, to distant relatives, to anyone who needed it. He emptied his own treasury by choice. He said something that should stop you cold. He said to hold great honor and great wealth too long is dangerous. That sitting on a visible mountain of gold makes you a target and ties you to a position you should be free to leave. So he let it go and moved on again. He settled in a place called Tao, took the name Tao Zhugong, and for the third time built an immense fortune from the ground up. 3 fortunes, 3 times he started over. 3 times he refused to be owned by what he built. Now, if this sounds like an ancient fairy tale with no bearing on your world, look at how the most successful builders of the modern age actually operate. Look at the serial entrepreneurs of Silicon Valley, the founders who build a company, sell it or lose it, and then immediately build another and another. The same names appear behind one success after another, across completely different industries. The pattern repeats too often to be luck, because what they own isn't the company. What they own is the ability to build companies. Strip away any single venture and they simply start the next, because the asset was never the business. The asset was the founder. Andrew Carnegie understood this a century earlier. He didn't build the greatest steel empire of his age alone, or with only his own money. He multiplied himself through partners, through borrowed capital, through other people's labor and other people's expertise. The fortune wasn't a pile he was guarding. It was the output of a man who knew how to assemble the pieces. Take the pile away, and a man like that simply assembles them again. That is Fan Li's lesson, alive in the modern world, 25 centuries later. Here's the first principle, and it's the one that dissolves the fear. Wealth lives in the person, not in the pile. The money was never the asset. Fan Li was the asset. The knowledge of how to read a market, how to buy, when to sell, how to move with the times, that lived inside him. And you cannot lose what lives inside you. Take away his gold, and he simply made more, because the gold was only ever the output. He was the source. This is the entire difference between someone who won money once and someone who understands money. The first lives in terror of losing it because they couldn't make it again. The second can lose everything and stay calm because they know exactly where it came from. It came from them. So the real question was never, how do I protect my money? The real question is, have I actually built the thing inside me that produces it? Because if you have, protecting it matters far less. And if you haven't, no amount of protecting will ever save you. Pause for a second and answer honestly. If your money vanished tomorrow, do you actually know how you'd rebuild it? Not hope. No. One word for the answer: hold it. Because that single question separates the people who own wealth from the people who are just nervously holding it, praying it lasts. Now here's the second principle, the harder one. Fan Li gave it away on purpose, and that was never generosity for its own sake. It was freedom. Most people are quietly owned by their money. They can't leave the job because of the lifestyle, can't take the risk because of what they'd lose, can't walk away from anything because everything they have grips them back exactly as hard as they grip it. The wealth that was supposed to free them has become the thing they serve. They don't own a fortune. The fortune owns them. Fan Li refused that trade. By holding his wealth loosely, by proving to himself again and again that he could release it and remake it, he stayed the master of it instead of its servant. He could abandon a king, return a minister's seal, walk away from a fortune because none of it owned him. That is a kind of power most rich men never achieve, no matter how large the number in front of them. And here's the quiet truth underneath the whole story. The people who clutch money the hardest often lose it anyway. To the fear, to the desperate decisions that fear produces, to the rigidity that comes from terror of loss. And the ones who hold it loosely, who know they can always make more, tend to make the calm, clear decisions that actually compound into lasting wealth. The grip is the weakness, the open hand is the strength. So let's go back to that fear you started with, that if it all disappeared, you'd be finished. Fan Li would tell you that fear is aimed at the wrong target. You're guarding the pile when you should be building the source. Become the kind of person who genuinely understands how wealth is made, how value moves, how timing works, how to buy what others throw away and sell what others crave, and the fear simply dissolves. Not because you'll never lose money, but because losing it would no longer mean losing everything. So don't think about how much you have right now. Think about who you're becoming, not someone clinging to a pile, praying it holds. Someone who has become the source, who could lose it all and calmly build it again. And here's the thing, Fan Li was one of an entire generation of Chinese minds who saw money this clearly. There was an investor who taught that you should buy precisely when everyone else is panicking. There were strategists who moved kingdoms with nothing but words, and a philosopher so cold about power that the West calls him their own Machiavelli, born 1,500 years too late to be first. We're decoding every one of them, one mind at a time. If this loosened that grip of fear even slightly, then you already understand why most people spend their whole lives guarding a pile they don't know how to rebuild. A few will become the source instead. Decide which one you are.